this segment, we shall be looking at small and medium enterprises, driving force for the economy. In this case, we are looking specifically at the Nigerian economy. And I have with me Oden Oboma. Oden Oboma is a retired staff of the SME department of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He's currently the National Coordinator, Entrepreneurship Enhancement Center of Nigeria, Chairman, Aletco Global Solutions Limited, a fintech company that provides financial solutions to the banked and the unbanked. We'll get to talk about that some other day. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
Thank you very much.
I begin this segment with a quotation from the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. He says, the federal government will continue to support micro, small and medium enterprises sector to bring the desired growth to the economy and provide jobs for the nation's youths. He said this at the 2019 Awards for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises in Abuja. How do we leapfrog from here, given the gamut of programs on ground already?
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay.
Having said that, the SME sector actually occupies a very large population in the economy of Nigeria. We are, as at now, where statistics could vary, we have about 37 million SME operators in the Nigerian economy, providing up for between 54 to 60 million jobs. This sector also contributes about 47% to the GDP of the nation. Then that means there's a huge growth in the system. It's a segment that you cannot relegate in the planning of the economy of the nation. Therefore, if the Vice President is of that opinion, it emphasizes the point that we need to focus attention on the SME sector. We have to focus the SME growth in the SME sector in terms of various infrastructures that will drive SME operations. We are looking at physical infrastructure that will deal with roads, electricity, transportation, and several other infrastructure. We also look at the IT infrastructure that will also drive that sector. We also look at financial architecture that will drive it. Therefore, all these components have to be focused, have to be items of planning, and it become national planning issues that will further drive the growth in the SME sector. The employment generation components will continue to rise as much as the sector attention is given to the sector. The intervention programs that the federal government is having, the 220 billion SME fund that has been developed by the CBN is beginning to have a kind of effect in the system. Now, recently, we had the central bank is looking at promoting creative arts and IT, giving access to loan facilities to that sector. And when I attended the seminar held by the Access Bank, calling on the creative practitioners and the ITC fintech companies or whatever, their position was that there is enough funds available for creative people in the creative industry to access from all commercial banks, and also the fintech or the ICT companies, and particularly the fintech companies which are now they are now in the upsurge. There's a lot that is happening in the fintech industry. So much is being developed to reach out to provide some various financial packages using the fintech platform. So if the Vice President is of that view, it's driving us, it's focusing the attention of the public to take advantage of the proactive packages, or so to say, or funds available for SME operations in Nigeria.
If the funds are available, and I don't get to know that these funds are available for my own sector as an entrepreneur, how do I get to access it?
Yes,
because government has good intention.
Yes,
government has voted so much for it, but domiciled in certain platforms,
yes,
domiciled in certain institutions. But information flow, how best can it be handled?
Yes, the government has been able to come up with some proactive measures which have been implemented now. For instance, the agri sector, you can see what is happening with the anchor borrowers. That is an intervention from the government. If you look at the SME sector now, we are not talking about this creative arts that I've just spoken about, the ICT sector. There are also other interventions that also will make it possible for people to access these funds. But basically, the awareness has to be created. In other words, both the money deposit banks, deposit money banks, and the development financial institutions, as well as even the microfinance banks, they should not take these things to the people. They should be able to publish it even within their own business premises, to provide the required knowledge to customers that are coming to do business, and take it further by such programs as we are having here now in NTA. We are also using it to reach out to the public, to visit the relevant institutions. Because the problem with microfinance, SMEs, you have the micro level. We also have maybe the medium, and then the mega, which are the bigger companies. But the micro ones are so naive, and because they are kind of operating within the informal, unskilled sector, so they are there without looking out there to see what is available for them. But I think the government has made provision for everybody, no matter how small it is, because there are some SMEs that will go beyond even 100,000 naira to be able to start. Okay. While some of them are looking at, according to the CBN provision, from 500,000 and above.
Okay. So now, judging from what you said, the Nigerian government has devised policies and incentives for the development of small and medium-scale enterprises. Now, almost back to back, this is the third session now. We have had sessions with Smedan. Yeah. We have had session with a team that came in the previous episode of this program, looking at gemstones and wealth creation. Yeah. Now, as much as there's so much space, incentives available, the youth space, the youths themselves who are looking for white-collar jobs appear not to be jumping at it to utilize the incentives. How best can they jump at it? You see, I may ask that way. The Enterprise Development Centers created by the CBN in partnership with Smedan. We expect that they have to make their programs public and advertise them more, because this is the area, this is the catchment area, from training to skill, from skills to job. If you have the skill, we put at those centers, those skills, we should no more be talking about the common skills that we learn in schools. We should be talking about specific skills. That means we have to upskill the training that is taking place at these centers. From this training, you should implement, you should apply. And then the loans are also attached through, given through those trainings. They encourage participants at those trainings to access those loans. Therefore, the youths these are the driver of the youths now. So from school, after formal school, you should be able to access the entrepreneurship development centers in all the states. I think they are all in all the states now. So from there, you have access, because facilitators will also come from CBN and also from commercial banks and also the practitioners at those centers. That way you'll be able to access this, have opportunity to access these facilities. So youths have to take advantage of this entrepreneurship development center. Apart from that, there are also private entrepreneurship training centers, which have upskilled their training methods. Therefore, the kind of training that is available at these centers is no more the training that you will get and you don't know what to do. They are training tailored towards entrepreneurship, practicing entrepreneurship. So we come out from this training, you should be able to set up your business. So that is how we think that the youth should go. Because formal education that we are receiving does not give you the required jobs. People are underemployed. They are not employed. The ones that are employed are underemployed. So to get yourself properly employed, it means you have to create your own employment. By creating your own employment, you are creating jobs for others. So you enhance your income and generate more revenue to even apply for
expansion of your businesses. So the centers are the incubators for all these youths to take advantage of, where you learn how to manage your finance, where to source your finances, also where to, if you are into manufacturing, where you source your raw materials. So you get all those things at those centers. So those centers are the learning ground, the training ground for the youths.
The SMEs will utilize labor-intensive technologies, thereby reducing unemployment, particularly in developing countries, and thus have an immediate impact on employment generation.
Yes, well, there's a saying that technology will kill human labor. That in other words, when you are backing on technology incentives, intensive, then that means there will be labor reduction.
Okay.
so they go hand in hand, but it is not so, because once you deploy technology, actually, it creates efficiency, and efficiency can lead to output. So it's only going to transfer labor from one segment to another. For instance, if you are using technology to intensive technology for production, then that means output will rise. And if output rise, then you need distribution. So while distribution is increasing, channels of distribution increasing, which you have to also deploy technology and human beings, you are reducing costs in terms of production angle. So both sides are working together. So labor intensive, of course, we are trying to move out of that to IT intensive deployment of IT intensive processes. So this is how these things work. You cannot kill one, because otherwise by now, and I think people will not be working in the developed countries, but there are still human beings working. The robots are working. Human beings are directing. So still, human factor is very important in production or in the labor market. So technology is good. It drives the processes faster. It is precision. It can have precision and several other things with it. But also technology is also expensive. Okay. It's not cheap too. So yeah, sometimes you have to balance it. Which one will be of your maybe comparative advantage at a particular time? Will it be technology intensive or labor intensive? So it's a balance between the management decision.
Okay. Now, you are the National Coordinator Entrepreneurship Enhancement Center, based in Abuja, right?
Yes.
How well is your center using the government platform to touch the lives of Nigerians?
Okay, yeah. So the center is actually meant to build capacity and mentoring for entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. We are complementing what the government is doing. So if the government rolls out a policy, we look at that policy and see how well can we implement it to leverage on that policy to achieve the government desired goal. So that way, we're working with a lot of youths within the system. There are some that are having innovative products and inventions. So we work with them, mentor them, and translate those ideas into a product or service. So that way, we are not only providing knowledge, we are also investing. So because it is not enough to give somebody knowledge or give somebody, provide the environment. The environment you are providing, it has to be where the idea is going to develop. So we provide office space, give you space where you can develop that idea. At the same time, support the growth, the development of that idea to a product or service into the market, which we are doing with several companies. The Alatco is one of those products. That's a fintech company coming from a young man's idea. So we have to support it and make it to become a product. It's being launched as
the young man is a Nigerian.
The young man is in Nigeria. So he has to take a percentage share of the ownership of the company. And then I will allow a percentage.
Is it a product of your center?
Yes, a product of the center. And then we use it to now allow other investors who will eventually see the product and want to invest. So a percentage is left hanging for the incoming investors as the product moves into the market strongly. So this is how we are supporting what government is doing, because government is there providing facilities. By this process, it's not a fintech company. You can access government loans as they are made available through the PFIs. So this way, we are producing entrepreneurs, giving knowledge, giving support, and taking you to the market. So he's not an employee of labor. He has employed himself. He's not looking forward to employ others. So that is how the center works.
Besides public governance,
yes,
talk about PPP,
yes,
public-private partnership,
yes,
and government has used it so much to breathe life into the private sector.
Yes.
What will you say is the milestone so far by this arrangement by government? Is it working, or is it
the PPP is working?
Okay.
Because I was also a participant in the PPP arrangement under the housing scheme of El-Rufai. In fact, where I'm living now, it's the CBN as a cooperative estate. It was developed under PPP arrangement with El-Rufai. That program has created the bulk of estates that you find within Abuja. It's under the PPP arrangement. Because by the time when we came into the scheme, we discovered that we have to develop estate for staff, complementing what the CBN as an institution was doing to its staff. But today, that estate is not like a warehouse for we retirees. So we did it when we were still in active service. Today we are living there as retirees, and more and more retirees are coming in day by day as the year passes by. That is to show how efficient the PPP arrangement has been in the government. The government, the program, the arrangement is so fundamental for economic growth.
Okay.
You can use it for infrastructure development. You can use it for even education and all sorts of things.
Okay.
That every aspect of the economy can be driven by PPP.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Ofem Oboma, National Coordinator, Entrepreneurship Enhancement Center, and Chairman-elect Global Solutions. It was nice talking with you.
Thank you.
Insight.
My pleasure.
Up next on Inside, we're not done yet, is the media review segment.